Hello, I'm Toycat, and this is QnA Saturday, the weekly series I run on my channel to answer your questions from the past week or so, mostly from, last week's Q&A, and they're about 50% split between questions about the next update or the future of Minecraft in general, and just other things people have wanted to ask me. So if there's anything that I don't answer in this week's video, or haven't answered before, feel free to leave it in the comments down below, because that's where I pick all of these questions from. Hopefully you do will enjoy this week's, like if you do, because it helps out the channel, and lets know you do enjoy this as much as I enjoy recording it. So with that said, let's get straight into the very first question, shall we, which comes in from JBlitz15, someone I recognize from a lot of streams, actually. It's kind of cool. There's like a, like little community of people that I recognize from the streams, and yeah, JBlitz says in particular, I just realized I've been on Toycat's channel for close to 2 years now, and haven't missed a single video. I'm still interested in this channel, so thanks for that, Toycat. Now onto the Q&A, basically. So how will Minecraft do on the Switch, financially and gameplay-wise? Do you think it will flop or not flop? So first of all, big question there. Thank you very much for being subscribed for 2 years. I'm really amazed that people have been around that long, because it seems like the average, like subscription of a channel is some number of months, so it's always cool when, someone has been around for so long, and to have watched every video in that time, that is actually quite impressive. I think if I upload twice a day, 365 days a year, that's like over 1,000 videos, so big thumbs up on that. Good job, Jaybit. So anyway, let's answer the question, which is about Minecraft for the Switch and whether it'll flop or not. And honestly, I figured for the longest time that whenever they release a new version of Minecraft, like, for the Apple TV or for the Switch, that it's going to flop in comparison to, the PC and the Xbox 360, because, those have sold like 20 million copies a piece, and the Pocket Edition has sold like 50 million. However, when you think about it, the reason that Minecraft does so many things that are kind of, they seem like they're bad in comparison, is because even if they sell like 500,000 copies, I think that's roughly what they sold on the Wii U, that's still a lot of money to make for a game that they're essentially just porting to that platform. So I think it will flop in terms of like, it won't do as well as any other edition, but I think even if they sell like 100,000 copies at, like $20 a piece, oh, guess what, that's 2 million, pretty nice money to be making right there. So yeah, I don't think it will flop in terms of like, they'll lose money on it, but I think it won't do as well as the other versions, and I think gameplay-wise, it's going to be very similar to the Wii U edition. It might not even be the next-gen version, because again, the Switch is about as powerful as a Wii U, it's a little bit more powerful in some cases, so yeah, how that works is a little bit beyond me, but that's something we do now know. So with that said, let's move on to the second question, shall we, which comes in from Scintilla, who asks, at IBXToycat, Pepsi or Coke? This one's from Twitter, of course. You can follow me at IBXToycat if you want to see when these Q&A things go. But yeah, let's quickly answer the question of Pepsi or Coke, because for the longest time, I was one of those people who thought, they're both the same basically drink, there's just this big tribalism thing, but because I've been like drinking them a bit more recently, I can't explain exactly why, basically I think I like Coke a lot more from like a fountain, but the Pepsi Max is way better than like the Coke Zero or the, Diet Coke or whatever, so there's my official opinion. Coke is better than Pepsi a little bit, I think, but Pepsi Max is definitely like 100 times better than Coke Zero. Now we know the official score is settled, and we can move on to the third question, which comes in from Pixar Phil TV, who says, at IBX Toycat, will we see shulker boxes on last-gen consoles? So, a simple answer to this one is yes. Every single brand new feature that you're excited about for Minecraft, with very, very few exceptions, so like, I don't know about Realms, for instance, or I don't know about, Woodland Mansions, but all of the, the vast majority of features will come to last-gen consoles, including llamas, including, the new minigame, including, like any, shulker boxes, for instance. All of these brand new features will come to last-gen as well as current-gen. There's no good reason why the 360 can't handle, like, shulker boxes and stuff, and yeah, it's going to be years until that changes on that front, so don't worry about it. You'll get your shulker boxes, and you'll probably get your flying elytra and all these other cool things you're no doubt excited for. So with that said, let's move on to the fourth question, shall we, which comes in from Mitchell Williams, who asks another kind of personal one here, because they say, #Q, what is your earliest memory from your childhood? So I was thinking about this recently, because I can distinctly remember being like 2 years old, maybe like 1.5, like being some ridiculously young baby, and being washed in the sink. I don't know if that's common elsewhere, or if it was just like my family being weird, or being like, I don't know what would cause that, but I was being washed in the sink, and it was like, this is a really weird experience, and I remembered that for like, the last 19 years or something, but I think it's really weird that I remember that as being me, because if I think about a memory of like me at 5 years old, I don't really picture that as, like, I can remember being there, but I really don't think that 5-year-old me and current me really have anything in common, because, think about, it's been 16 years since 5-year-old me, and those 16 years have changed me so much more than the first 5 did, and that's why I think, I just wanted to kind of throw a little thing here with like, if you remember something from your childhood and you don't like it, just say that's a different person. It's fine, because like, it's been so many years since that, right? That's my official opinion, and now Mitchell Williams. So yeah, I was washed in the sink at like age 2 or 3 or something, and I'll remember that forever, and I don't know if it's a good thing to remember, but that was me. So with that said, let's move on to the fifth question, which which comes in from Raider Mash Anth, who says, at IBX Toycat, if you were to give out a random guess, when would MCPE be able to crossplay with MCCE? Love your videos. So, first of all, thank you very much, Raider Mash Anth. But when will the MCPE be able to play with MCCE? I think just based on what they've said publicly over the past few years of Minecraft and since Microsoft bought it, not based on anything like I privately do or don't know, but just based on the public stance, they're really moving towards, the platforms being able to crossplay. They've said that explicitly. They've said Realms is a good opportunity for that. Realms on the Pocket Edition even uses Xbox Live, which makes me think as soon as Realms comes to the console, they're going to move really, really quickly towards making those two platforms be able to crossplay, because then they can take their, because the Pocket Edition has sold more copies, but it sells for less, and then they've got the console edition players where I think there might be less players right now, but it sells for more, and they've got more DLC offerings, so they probably make more money there. I think there's a really good market for them to combine those two and make Minecraft a bigger game by combining two entirely separate communities into one. So yeah, when will they be able to crossplay? I think it will be kind of soon, actually. I think that's probably one of the big goals, and that's why we don't hear too much from Microsoft or Mojang as to what their next big plan is, because it's something that takes so much effort from both sides to coordinate. But I think we'll hear something on it soon enough, or at least we can hope for that anyway. So with that said, let's move on to the next question, shall we? Which comes in from Epic Gamer CCN, who says #Q. In this Q&A, you jumped every time you hit a pig. Why would you do that? So this was last week's Q&A, of course, and the reason for that, just in case you're not familiar, is because if you're in midair when you do a hit, you get a critical hit. So this is really good for battle because you get 50% extra damage, but it's also really good for survival because if you have a diamond sword, you can't kill pigs or cows with one hit, if I'm not mistaken, unless you critical hit them. So if you want to kill them in one hit and waste one, durability instead of two, always jump when you hit mobs in Minecraft. It's just a good idea in general, and it also works really well for PvP, which is why you might have seen in, I think it was background gameplay for something, you're going to see how I get destroyed by this guy with a wooden sword because he jumps at just the right moment, and it's basically pro tip right there, watch out, critical hits are pretty darn dangerous. So with that said, let's move on to the next question, shall we, which comes in from #TBIWTTB. I'm not sure if there's a meaning to that, but they say #Q and totally not A. Do you actually watch South Park? You referenced it in your last video when you were talking about Colorado. So yeah, I do actually watch South Park. I think it's one of my favorite TV shows, only because it's there's a lot of easy cartoons to watch, right? And South Park is kind of that, but South Park also is really cleverly written and stuff, in that they're actually kind of making really fun, subtle points about how you can make fun of everything, but it's never oh yeah, we're gonna try and paint this out to be that side so that you believe this opinion. It's just look how stupid everything is in the world. So they'll make fun of oh yeah, well there's the Catholics, or there's Hurricane Katrina, or here's this thing or that thing. They'll go off these things, and it seems oh no, you can't make jokes about that. But I think they proved that yeah, you can make jokes, and as long as you kind of do it everywhere, it's good and it's funny. And yeah, South Park is a good TV show, and I think I'm not alone when I say oh yeah, whenever there's a new season about to come out, I get super excited for it. But they only do one season a year now instead of 2 half seasons, so it's a bummer, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in 2017, whatever the current year is what I'm saying. So with that said, let's move on to the next question, shall we, which comes in from Sadek Ben, who says #QnA. When Minecraft will be released on the Switch, will it be the PE version because of the touchscreen, or the console version like the Wii U? So this one's quite easy. They've confirmed it is the console version, but I was thinking about it for a while, and it really made sense that they could put the Pocket Edition on there because there is the full touchscreen. However, I don't think they're going to, because even though they've got the Android games on there before, it is a different architecture, and also the big thing about it is the Nintendo Switch touchscreen, it rarely actually gets used. I don't think I've actually used it a single time yet, and there's a lot of situations where it just doesn't work at all. So I think, yeah, they really want to push it as a controller game, and obviously, I think Minecraft Switch being the console version is just kind of a better version in my opinion right now, based on what it's useful for. And I know some people are going to be like, no, it's P is way better, but I think for the particular things I want to Switch for, I would prefer the console version. But what I'd really like to see, I know they won't do this, I'd love to see if they could release both versions on there, so you could have the Pocket version and you could have the console version, and that'd be kind of cool in my opinion. But they won't do that. Instead, you'll just see the console version, and that's what the Nintendo Switch version will be. And again, there'll be videos of that on my channel when it comes out, just in case you're curious. But yeah, that'll be whenever that does come out in the next few months, and that's an exciting little thing about Minecraft. So with that said, let's move on to the next question, shall we? Which comes in from TMG, who says #Q. When Realms come, will you make a new day of the week when you play on your realm/realm? So assuming you can only have one realm, I have to make this big decision now of do I make a YouTuber realm and have a fun series, or do I have one where I play with subscribers? Because I love both ideas equally. So what I think I'll end up doing is I might try and join in someone else's YouTube realm, so I can have one that I can easily invite people to. And will I have a fixed day for it? I probably will. I'll try for the first 3 or 4 weeks be oh yeah, Wednesday is stream day. But we'll have to see how that does go. I'm looking forward to the idea of having a subscriber realm, but I know what will happen is someone will come in, someone will light some TNT and be ha ha ha, this is so funny, and then I'll be oh well, I guess that's not that anymore. So yeah, I think like the grief, like watching out for griefers is something I have to like be very cautious about, because the thing about Minecraft is that there's like let's call it like 10% of people. There's lots of people who like would murder someone if they could. They'll just go in there and they'll be like, ha ha ha, it's funny just to ruin someone else's day, and you gotta be able to watch out for that before I ever start a realm with subscribers. So that's something I watch, because it happened on Pocket Edition like twice I think, and I don't want it to happen on the console. So yeah, will there be a certain day of the week? Probably. Will I do it? Hopefully. And yeah, with that said, let's move to the final question, which comes in from the Average Joe, who says, hashtag QnA, so Kat, have you been to Bangladesh? I have a friend who lives there. So it's pretty cool that you have a friend in Bangladesh. I actually, one of my like, I guess, internet employers, like I did like freelance work for him at one point, was from Bangladesh, and it was really bizarre because at one point I was like, you know, after I was basically done with it, I outsourced my work to India. So like I basically like the India work came into the UK and then went out to Bangladesh. It was a very weird story, but that's not relevant today. Let's talk about, have I been to Bangladesh? I have not, but I do intend to go at some point, only because there's like a really weird statistic. Like Bangladesh doesn't have the fewest tourists, but it has the fewest tourists per like capita. And although I'm not one of those people who are like, oh yeah, tourists are the worst, because, you know, fun fact, I am a tourist, right? But I'm not one of those people. But I'd love to see what a country looks like without, you know, I'd love to see what like all these historic, famous landmarks they have in Bangladesh would be like without other people there. So yeah, that's something I really want to go and do at some point. I want to go and see the Bangladesh stuff, just because it's like the least visited country in comparison to its population, which is fascinating. And yeah, that's a cool thing about Bangladesh, that it'll probably be like some number of years down the line, but I'd love to go there sometime, and maybe you should too if you have a friend, Mr. Average Joe. But with that said, I hope you did all enjoy this week's Q&A Saturday. Like the video if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do like the Q&A, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Just a heads up, there is a new minigame coming very shortly. I don't know when. People keep thinking I do. I have no idea. They keep saying they can't say. I imagine it will be the 4th of April, the Tuesday after next, but it might be this next Tuesday. So keep your eye on my channel. If you hit the bell button, then you'll see as soon as I make an update video, and you can be like, oh, let's go play the new update. And yeah, it's going to be mostly just this new minigame, but I think a new minigame is pretty exciting. So I'll be playing a lot of that on my channel, and hopefully if you keep watching it, we can do even more of that. With that said, hope you all enjoy Q&A Saturday, because I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.